I know we all joke about The Sims 5 coming and like, oh, when's The Sims 5? What's in The Sims 5? But you guys, The Sims 5 is actually coming. Like, they're working on it right now. Confirmed, like, it's a thing. There's been a bunch of news this week about The Sims 5 and about The Sims in general. First of all, The Sims' 20th anniversary is next week. It's been around for a long time, and I think there's cause for celebration there. I'm kind of expecting something big to happen next week. I don't know what it is, but like, it's 20 years of the game existing. They have to do something. I don't know what, maybe an announcement, big update, but they've got to do something next week. But not only that, in EA's big earning report they announced this week, The Sims 4 is now the best-selling game of the franchise, which is a huge deal. There are over 20 million unique players of The Sims 4. That's big, you guys. This game is a big deal. It's doing well, it's still doing well, and that's a good sign for us because they're gonna have probably a few more years of Sims 4 content, at least. But The Sims 5 is in development. I don't know if it's The Sims 5, but EA has created a new Maxis studio in Texas working on an unannounced title. Don't know what that could be, but it's a new title with Maxis, the developers of The Sims. But most importantly, the CEO of EA in an earnings call yesterday announced a future title of The Sims and talked a whole ton about an online version of The Sims. This is where it gets big, okay? Because we have not only a Sims 5 next generation game confirmed, but he's talking a lot about an online version of the game. He talks a lot about like inspiration and escape and self-improvement and creation and blah 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 as motivations for simmers, but he also talks about social interaction and competition, and he keeps coming back to those two words, social interaction and competition, as what they want to aim for with the next game. Because they're going to keep this like inspiration of creativity and blah blah blah, letting simmers do what they want to do, but they want to add more social interaction and competition into the Sims games. He compares it to The Sims Online, a game from like 18 years ago, and he's essentially confirming we're going to get a Sims Online edition with The Sims 5, and I got some concerns. But I want to first address what might be some of your concerns, because trust me, I know when The Sims 5 gets mentioned, a bunch of people get all like, oh my god, no, I spent money on The Sims 4, no Sims 5, meh. But you guys, if this game's in development now, it's not gonna come out for years. Like 3-4 years down the line, we'll get The Sims 5, maybe. It's not gonna come out for a while. This is not the end of The Sims 4, nor is The Sims 5 being in development going to affect The Sims 4's development. They're going to be totally different teams. Not the same people at all working on this. Them making The Sims 5 is not going to mean we're going to get, like, less quality on The Sims 4, or less content in general. Completely different people. It might even be a different studio altogether. This could be worked on in Texas, for all we know. If you didn't know, EA's headquarters are in California, so far away, actually. I mean, like, San Francisco, Texas, like, they're different people, completely. But I have some concerns about an online Sims game, because to me, I know they had a Sims Online back in the day, and things like Sims Free Play and Sims Mobile are kind of online versions with more, like, actual social interaction. But for the record, the Sims Online, like the actual Sims Online game, that came out in 2002. I was 3. I didn't play that game, actually, in December of 2002, unfortunately. And they had, like, someone rebooted it and brought it back a couple years ago. I didn't play that version either. And I don't really play The Sims Mobile or The Sims Free Play, like, ever. I'm just not really into this notion of an online Sims game. To me, The Sims is so, at its core, a single-player game. And I worry about what The Sims Online would mean. I have a few concerns. I'm so excited to see how they answer these questions because, like, I think for one, because when I think of an online Sims game, I think of, like, mobile games where there's, like, in-app purchases, which is my biggest concern. Are we gonna have, like, a Sims 3 store kind of situation where you can, like, buy a single hair for $1? Are they gonna try and have all these, like, in-game content and, like, all of this, like, cosmetic stuff you can buy to nickel and dime us? Because that's a big concern of mine. And I think if we're going in that direction, and people have bad feelings about EA for reasons like this, an online version of the game, I think, lends itself very well to an economy like that, where you have to buy clothing and items and stuff for, like, real money. And in The Sims 3, they had a Sims 3 store that had essentially, like, think of it as, like, paid custom content. They had regular DLC, like stuff packs and expansion packs and stuff, but they also had a store where they sold, like, packs of a few hairs and, like, maybe a new world clothing, and you could buy items, like you could buy a baby's crib individually for like $1, real life money. And I can see an online version of The Sims 5 kind of making it work like that, but you could buy it, like, physically in-game, not even just, like, having to go into a browser and install it. You could just buy it in the game, and that worries me. I don't want in-game purchases. Also, how would custom content work? Can modders mod this game? Surely they wouldn't, like, kick modders out of the Sims community. They're a huge part of the community, but like, how does the online version function with mods? What kind of online game are we talking about? And more so on the track of mobile games, how does time work in this game? If it's online, does it keep going when I'm not playing? Are my Sims gonna age while I'm not playing? Because I think one of the biggest demotivators as far as mobile games go is I don't like the fact that the time keeps running while I'm not there. I don't want to have to check it every few hours to check in on things. I want to like play it when I have time. And can I speed up time if the time is running globally? Can I like fast forward through work, or do I have to sit there and wait for it? Like in a mobile game where you like send your sim off and you have to wait like 3 hours for the thing to complete, your little like quest thing, and then you get your reward, whatever. Do I have to wait real time for things like that to happen? I doubt they'd go in that direction, but God, I don't want it to go in that direction. I'm sure it wouldn't. It's not going to be like a mobile game, but I worry about it, you guys. I don't know what to expect. Also, how does DLC work in a game like that? Maybe I'm making myself seem stupid, but like I'm thinking of The Sims 4. When you have a thing like Seasons come out as an expansion pack, if I have Seasons and you don't, in this online version of the game, what happens? If I have a dog and you don't, do you just see my dog and you can't play with it? Sure, that makes sense, but like with things like Seasons, where it's impacting the whole game, how is that gonna work with an online version? I think it makes sense for things like University, where like you can kind of go to this separate experience and you can kind of come back and you can show off your new hairs and stuff. And if you haven't bought University, you can't use it, but you can see other people using it and you just can't go to the world or whatever. But there are some things that impact the game so much as a whole that I wonder how it's gonna work. I feel very skeptical of an online version. I think because of the fact that The Sims 4, it's a well-known theory, you know, that The Sims 4 was supposed to be an online version of the game and then it got scrapped, and that's why the base game was kind of so lacking. So things like toddlers, terrain manipulation, those things not being in the base game were because it was supposed to be online. So is The Sims 5 gonna lack terrain manipulation and toddlers? I doubt they'll make those mistakes again, but it makes you wonder. I mean, is this gonna be another case of this game getting scrapped last minute and then having to like scramble to fix it and make it a single player game for release? And kind of back to that nature of how is it gonna work, is it gonna be like Stardew Valley, how when you play multiplayer you have to have friends and there can be 4 of you in a world and then you can play multiplayer, but it isn't like a big open world everyone's playing in? Because I think I feel more open to a game like that where it's like a single player game that you can play with friends if you want in like a smaller server. If you don't know this game, Stardew Valley is a farming game and it's more than that, I promise, but it's a great game. And essentially it's a single player one where you have this farm, you take over Grandpa's old farm, you run it, you meet the townspeople, you know, you can milk cows, you can go mining, but you can also play multiplayer and put like cabins for your friends on the farm. There can be 4 of you total and you can play together that way. And I like that concept because it doesn't like take away from the base nature of what Stardew Valley is, but it gives you that option to play with friends if you want, but there isn't really a way to like play if you don't have friends. Like, you don't have friends? Sorry, you can't play multiplayer. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So I wonder, is The Sims gonna go in a direction like that where it's like a smaller server, you have to have friends to play? Or is it gonna be like some kind of like Sims Online, or I don't know. I'm just kind of shooting out things that I'm thinking of. I literally made a list of my concerns to talk about in this video. And I don't mean to be like a downer, because I do think this could be amazing. I just have been a little wary of it for a long time. And I kind of don't understand, you know, like I don't get it. How are you gonna do it? But I also think that having a multiplayer experience for a life simulator is a really cool concept. I mean, this game is about simulating life, and having like actual real life people to interact with is kind of cool. I mean, think if your Sims go to work and there's like people there, like real ones. Your Sims date someone and they're like a person. I don't know, that also kind of causes me a little bit of concern too, because it does give other people the ability to like ruin the story you're trying to tell. And I think The Sims is always walking this line of like, I want to intervene with what you're doing a little bit, but I also don't want to like ruin your story, and I want to give you power to do whatever you want, but I can like push you in directions. And a multiplayer game kind of like changes the game in the sense that it's completely different. It's up to other people too. So can you date other people? Like, can your Sim start a family with another player? I don't know how that would work. I feel like I don't know. Because then if they move in with you, like I don't get it. Can they control your kids too? Can they break my house? Are they gonna delete my sofa? I don't know. I'm scared of multiplayer. I don't want it. I think they'll have a single player version as well. Probably. I don't know. I feel like this is turning into me really being just a giant Debbie Downer, huh? I don't mean to be. I'm excited about this concept. I think that this is a really cool direction for The Sims to take. I think that this is like a very logical next step. They've done all these different generations of this game, and I think that online is the next one. I just worry. about The Sims' past online attempts. SimCity, Sims Online, The Sims 4, you know, like, our track record is way down here. I'll link the Sims community articles about this down below so you can read about it yourself, because you can read the CEO's whole transcript and you can even listen to him talk about this if you want. He's very vague about this. One thing that he says, as Maxis continues to think about The Sims for a new generation, cross-platforms, and a cloud of a neighborhood world, you should imagine while we will always stay true to our inspiration, escape, creation, self-improvement, motivations, that this notion of social interactions and competition, like the kind of things that were initially present in The Sims Online many, many years ago, that they will start to become a part of the Sims experience in the years to come. So he's like saying, yes, we're gonna get an online version. Kind of a bunch of fluff words, but it makes sense. I mean, this list of like, we're gonna stay true to our inspiration, escape, creation, self-improvement, motivations, like, those are your inspirations for the game, sure, but like, come on. Inspiration, creation, escape, blah, 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 blah. Like, I hear that and I'm like, okay, blah, 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 blah. It's a life simulation, yes. But he says cross-platforms and a cloud of a neighborhood world. And cross-platform sounds interesting to me, too. I mean, they're kind of aiming for that right now by introducing gallery across the console and PC. But if they're trying to make an online version, I mean, you better make it so that console and PC can play at the same time together. I mean, why not? And ideally, with The Sims 5, those things will be released at the same time. I mean, right now we're kind of on like a delayed schedule of console games coming out like a month after The Sims 4 PC games. I think this means with The Sims 5, they're aiming really for a cross-platform experience, which is so cool because that opens up the game to so many more players. Because a lot of people don't have a computer that can run The Sims, but a lot of people have consoles. Or like, their brother has a console, or their sister, or whatever, like, their cousins maybe got a console. Like, there's, I think, an easier way for people to use a console to play the game. I think that's a much more common thing to have in your house than like a gaming computer, you know? I mean, my siblings, my dad doesn't have a computer really to play games, but he plays on PS4 all the time. Doesn't play The Sims though. Loser. Ark survival. God. I think overall though, my final takeaways, I am really excited for this game. Like, the idea of an online Sims game, I think a lot of my concerns are basically half questions. Like, how are you gonna do this? I'm so excited to see how you're gonna do this. I can't wait to play it and find out more about it. I don't want to be that guy that like speculates too much and gets excited about features that aren't confirmed yet, because I know that the Sims community, we have a tendency to like take things and run with them and be like, oh my god, this thing is confirmed. We're getting this thing. It's like when Dine Out came out and there was a little teddy bear on the Dine Out little cookie thingy and people were like, oh my god, toddlers confirmed. And toddlers were not confirmed at that point. We just made it up. So we need to like calm down and not run with things too far. We do that. We know we do that. But we can talk about them. I mean, this isn't like some vague hint. This guy literally said, we're making a Sims Online. We've got a few years to wait though, and also a lot of Sims 4 still to be had. And with the direction The Sims is going in right now, I am very excited for The Sims 5 is gonna come out. I mean, The Sims 4, when they started making it in like 2010, that was a very different time. So the idea of making a new Sims game right now, so many more possibilities. It's gonna be so much better. I'm so excited. Even if I worry a little bit about, you know, like in-app purchases, but that's a valid concern, okay? EA, you can't be trusted. I don't know, you know this. Okay, on that note though, I am gonna go. Please let me say a game changer. I didn't mean it. You can be trusted. We love you. EA Sports, it's in the game, you know? In the game with in-app purchases. I'm sorry, I'll stop. I'm sorry. I love you, EA. Please in the comments tell me more about what you're excited for this to be. Speculate to your wildest dreams right now. I want to talk about The Sims 5. We have his vague words to go on. What do you guys think we're gonna get?